Antonio, welcome back to my channel. Now, who's ready for some fighting words? In this video, I want to talk about Hector Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis. Their fight coming up this weekend, and this is a fight breakdown / prediction. If you want to know how this works, basically I put both guys face to face, and I run down a list of attributes. Whoever has more checks in the end, that's basically the guy that I'm going with. Really quick, if you like the channel, you like the content, you love the videos, please subscribe to the channel right now. Take that opportunity right now and just click that one little button. And while you're at it, you can click that other button that says thumbs up. It really does help and support the channel. Now let's jump into it. Punch output. Hector Garcia, man, throws a lot of punches. And once he gets into his groove, man, throws a whole lot of punches. He can throw like 100 punches in a round. His cardio and conditioning have never been a factor. And even when he came in on a last moment replacement against Chris Colbert, it wasn't a factor. He was throwing a lot of punches, and it's helped him time and time again just to have more in the gas tank than his opponents. And going up against Gervonta Tank Davis, it could be a factor in this fight. So Hector Garcia, speed, Gervonta Tank Davis, definitely. He's coming from a smaller weight class. He started like all the way down from like 130. There's no reason why he shouldn't be faster. Plus, he's in shape. He looks good. He looks fast. He's been training hard. Definitely Gervonta Tank Davis. Power, Gervonta Tank Davis. When I'm talking about power, I'm talking about one-punch knockout power. Gervonta Tank Davis. Yes, Hector Garcia put Chris Colbert down. That is true. However, when he put him down the first time, it was basically just a counterpunch. Chris was already committed to something. He already had his feet planted. He got put down. The other time was basically a punch out. Typically, when there's a punch out, the last person to throw the punch, the last person to punch in a punch out is typically going to be the one who's going to connect last. And more than likely, I'd probably say 9 times out of 10 is going to hit the other opponent. And that's exactly what happened. But when I'm talking about a one-punch knockout power, all it takes is one of these and you're out of there, like a Gervonta Tank Davis. Definitely Gervonta Tank Davis. He is a mini version of Deontay Wilder. Body puncher, Gervonta Tank Davis. He's not always he's not always a fully committed body puncher, but when he is, he's vicious. He's very vicious. Now you take that one punch knockout power and you add the liver, add the liver shot. That's a problem. And then you add that over the course of rounds. That's a big problem. And that's one of my gripes about him. I just feel like he's a tremendous, amazing body puncher. Not to mention that he's 9 times out of 10 going to be shorter than his opponents. So even more reason to go towards the body. And he fights really low on top of that. So again, even more reason, Gervonta Tank Davis. Counter puncher. I would give this a tie. I would give it a tie. Listen, Hector Garcia, yeah, he's a volume puncher, but he takes full advantage of opportunities, and that's exactly what happened in the Colbert fight. Like I mentioned earlier, he took advantage of an opportunity. You know, Chris was overextending because when you have that flashy style, you always got to be able to move your legs. He was overextending and he got popped, and that's the reason why he rolled over or doubled over twice, just because he got caught with a counterpunch. Gervonta Tank Davis as well. Great counterpuncher. He can lead with counterpunching, but typically Gervonta likes to lead the dance. Biggest win, Chris Colbert for Garcia. And then you have Barrios and Gamboa for Gervonta Tank Davis. Gamboa was highly decorated, and Barrios was a champion. I'm not going to say that Chris Colbert isn't anything special, but I do look at him as somebody who's kind of been spoon-fed. I would say that. He's not highly as decorated. Definitely not highly as decorated as Gamboa. But listen, Barrios had a strap, and Barrios was undefeated. And I'm going to leave that at that. And Tank went up to fight him. I'm going to leave that at that. Footwork, Gervonta Tank Davis. Definitely Gervonta Tank Davis. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. He can fight you backing up. He can fight you moving forward. He knows how to split off that ring. He knows how to cut off the ring. He knows how to get off to the sides. He can do it all. And he can fight you with his legs, as he did with Rolly. Come on, Gervonta Tank Davis all the way. Creativity. Again, Gervonta Tank Davis. So let me elaborate on what I just said about fighting Rolly with his legs. He walked Rolly into that shot. Okay? He walked him into it. Yeah, you can beat guys one way, but you know what? If a guy wants to use all his might and his power and he's throwing all these thunderous shots, fine. Okay, well, chase me. And it's creativity. It's creativity. He baited that punch. He baited him to follow him. And he did. He also baited the punch that he threw. And he did. He did everything. He dictated that whole sequence of events. It wasn't like it was a lucky punch or anything like that. He baited him to that corner. He baited him to throw that punch so that he could go back with that punch and then skate off to the side. And that's exactly what happened. Creativity, people. Yes, you can fight him with your fists, but first you got to fight him with your mind to get him where you want him to be so that you can fight him with your fists. Durability. I'm going to give this to Gervonta Tank Davis. He's broken his hands on several occasions. And especially, I'm going to name the Pitbull fight because he messed his hand. I don't know. I think he broke his hand in that fight. But it was a tougher fight than what he thought. And Pitbull is not a guy you want to fight one hand. Like, Pitbull is more than enough with two working hands. But to have to fight him with one hand is something else. And it showed his durability. It showed his ability, Gervonta Tank Davis, to absorb pain. But it also showed his ability to fight off Pitbull in the meantime, because he got cracked a few times by Pitbull. Boxing IQ, ring IQ. I'm going to have to, and hear me out, and listen, I've said this several times before, and there's no reason I don't care because Gervonta Tank Davis has a bigger name or a bigger following that he's going to get this nod. He's not going to get this nod because Hector Garcia's got like 300, almost 400 amateur matches. So I'm sorry. It's going to have to go to him. Simply because he's seen more action. He's seen more in the ring. He knows, he's come across every type of boxer there is. So I got to give it to him. I got to be fair. I don't care about names and who you are and who's the bigger name. I have to be fair. It's Hector Garcia. It's not Gervonta Tank Davis. I think Gervonta Tank Davis is an extremely intelligent fighter, or growing into being an extremely intelligent fighter. But at this moment, I'm sorry, when a guy has that many amateur fights, you got to give him their props. You have to. And I look at Vasil Lomachenko, you got to give him his props. Dude's got like 396 or something like that, 97. You look at Alexander Usyk, I mean, come on. You look at Bivol, come on. You got to give these dudes their props. It is what it is. So definitely a Hector Garcia on that one. Mental toughness. Mental toughness. I'm going to go back to Tank on this one. You know what? I'm going to give this one a tie, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to give it a tie because Hector Garcia, he fought Chris Colbert, but it was last minute notice. So it wasn't like he had a full training camp for this or anything. This is just his mental toughness because he absorbed everything that he ever worked on, everything that every fight that he's ever been in, and he utilized it in that fight. And there were spots where he had to box. There were spots where he had to fight. There were spots where he had to use his footwork. Spots where he had to counterpunch. Spots where he had to punch it out. There was a spot for everything. And he won. But he didn't just win. He won. He beat Chris Colbert up. I'm sorry. So I got to give him his props for that. Mental toughness. Listen, he could have easily made an excuse. Oh, if I would have had a full training camp, I would have won that fight. He didn't have to do that. He took the bull by the horns and he said, you know what? If this is going to be my opportunity, if this is going to be the only time in my life where I get onto the big stage, I'm going to take full advantage of it. And I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to fight the slickest, cleanest, toughest, hardest fight that I've ever fought in my life. And he did that. I got to give him his respect on that. Now, same thing with Gervonta Tank Davis. I got to give him his props. Listen, this goes back to him having a broken hand. It's one thing to fight with two hands, but sometimes even with two hands, you can't get it done. This man had one hand. You got to respect anybody who's fighting off pain and still able to focus, still able to fight, still able to strategize, and still win the fight unanimously. So yeah, I'm definitely going to say it's a tie on that. I got to give both guys their props on that. Let's see. So that's the first section. of the fight breakdown. Now let's go into a section that I call to be successful. So to be successful, Hector Garcia has to put Tank on the back foot. I don't think anybody being successful against Tank is going to be successful with Tank on the front foot. I really don't. I think you have to put him on the back foot, at least to put yourself on a path to be successful. You have to put him on the back foot. The second thing would be to cut off the ring. And to cut off the ring the right way. I'm not talking about just stand in front of him. I'm talking about cut off the ring to where he can't slip out to the sides. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about true cutting off the ring. Heavyweight cutting off the ring, okay? Not this little business where I just stand in front of you and, I'm getting closer and closer and closer. I'm just going to edge and edge and edge and edge and edge. No, I'm talking about cutting off the ring where this is no longer an option. This is no longer an option. You have to go through me if you want out of this corner. That's going to have to, unfortunately, we're going to have to see what Hector Garcia's chin is all about, because he's going to have to do that. He's going to, in order to beat Tank, I think you also have to contain Tank. And that's going to be an issue. But that's also something that I feel like he's going to have to do if he wants to be successful. I also think he needs to overwhelm Tank with his punch output. Hector Garcia can easily throw over 100 punches in a round, and I think it would definitely serve him if he can cut off the ring, if he can contain Tank, and if he can put him on the back foot while throwing dozens and dozens of punches every single round. I think that could be enough to get a win against Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, for Gervonta Tank Davis to be successful, I think he needs to pick his shots. You are talking about a bigger guy. So I think Gervonta Tank Davis, just being safe, I feel like, especially in the early rounds, until he really figures this guy out, I feel like he needs to pick his shots. Shot here, shot there, but nothing. I don't feel like he should get fully committed in combos, since you're talking about a guy who likes to throw a volume of punches. Also, don't get caught up. So here's the thing with Hector Garcia. Don't get caught up, and this is for Tank. To be successful, do not get caught up in a punch out with Hector Garcia. That's what he wants. He's going to win because he's naturally the type of guy who's going to throw a lot of punches. He's going to win. Yeah, you hit hard, but he's going to win. You do hit hard, but you've gone up in weight. You do hit hard, but this guy throws a lot of punches. You do hit hard, but this guy's had over close to 400 amateur matches. So you're not the first heavy-handed dude that he's come across, and at a heavier weight. So don't get caught up in a punch out with this guy. Don't do that. Be yourself. Be smart. Use your legs. Also, footwork, and I think a sustained body attack from Tank puts anybody down. I really do. I don't care who it is. If Tank is able to put together a sustained body attack against any opponent, I feel like he can more than handle and drop and defeat any opponent, especially at 140 and down, definitely at this point. Overall, I have Tank winning the fight. I feel like he's too fast, too powerful. And here's another reason why I have Tank for the fight. So Devin Haney sparred Hector Garcia, in which case he laughed at Hector Garcia saying, he's a sparring partner. He's not title contention. He's a sparring partner. If Devin Haney treats Hector Garcia like that and looks at Hector Garcia like that, I don't see any reason why Gervonta Tank Davis can't have his way with Hector Garcia. Because Devin Haney is not the heaviest-handed guy in the world. And Devin Haney doesn't throw a whole lot of punches. So if Devin Haney could contain and handle and dominate Hector Garcia, I don't see any reason why Gervonta Tank Davis cannot. Also, I just don't see this fight going the distance. I think Gervonta Tank Davis is destined for greater things, and I hope that doesn't make this video sound in a certain way that, I'm just pro Gervonta Tank Davis. But when I look at the likes of the individual who's going to be the one to take him out, I don't see Hector Garcia with those attributes. I just don't see it. Or what I've seen from Hector Garcia, I don't see him possessing those attributes. Let me say it like that. So I have Gervonta Tank Davis by a TKO. I'm looking at round 6, maybe 7. Actually, I'm sorry, maybe round 7 or 8. I'm looking at a TKO. But those are my thoughts. Drop your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. What do you think about the fight breakdown? What do you think about the prediction? What do you think about me saying Tank's going to finish Hector Garcia in round 7 or 8? Drop your thoughts down below. As always, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Please like, please share, please subscribe to the channel.